Ho, ho, ho! And nice to see you. Welcome to Screen Bloody Movies. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm Derek Raoul Lemaster.
And he's Derek Raoul Lemaster this week on Screen Bloody Movies, the podcast where we review a horror movie each week, go over the horror news, and Derek gives himself strange nicknames like Raoul. That's not even a festive name. You could have said Rudolph.
No.
Santa.
Raoul is my alias.
It is your AKA. That is true. You do use that at every restaurant. Yeah.
Any restaurant who is like, what name? And I'm always like Raoul.
But he doesn't know how to spell it. That's the best part.
The jig is up when they're like, how do you spell that? I'm like, I don't know.
All he has to do is learn how to spell it one time. And it's really easy. It's R-A-U-L, Raoul. Oh.
That's how I roll.
How you roll. Speaking of rolls, how are you guys doing? I thought I was going to segue into something, eh? Speaking of rolls, we will be eating rolls for our festive Christmas dinners. Because it is Christmas week. When you guys are watching this, Christmas was just yesterday. So I hope you all had a fantastic Christmas. How are you guys doing today?
Doing good.
I'm good.
Okay, good. That was like the longest pause. You like went Popeye eye on me. What was going on?
I was malfunctioning.
Yeah. Basically, short circuit. Johnny Five's alive, guys. So this is our Christmas episode, and we will be doing Mike Daugherty's 2015 Christmas horror flick, Krampus. But before we get into that, guys, we have to hop on the sleigh, and go through the horror news. So I've only got a couple here, and none of them are very festive-y, but that's just the hand we're dealt at Christmas time. What are we supposed to do about it? So let's start with this one. There is a new trailer for The Pale Blue Eye, the new Netflix gothic murder mystery, Edgar Allan Poe movie starring Christian Bale. Have you guys seen this trailer yet?
No.
I've heard about it. I've not seen the trailer.
So yeah, it's written and directed by Scott Cooper, and Harry Melling plays Edgar Allan Poe in it, and Christian Bale plays a detective. So basically, it takes place in 1830. In the early hours of gray winter morning, a cadet is found dead. But after the body arrives in the morgue, tragedy becomes savagery when it's discovered that the young man's heart has been skillfully removed. Fearing irreparable damage to the military academy, its leaders turn to a local detective, Augustus Landor, played by Christian Bale, to solve the murder. Stymied by the cadets' code of silence, Landor enlists the help of one of their own to pursue the case, an eccentric cadet with disdain for the rigors of military, a young man named Edgar Allan Poe. So I watched the trailer, and it rocks. It looks great. Scott Cooper and Christian Bale have worked together several times before. Do you remember the movie Out of the Furnace? Christian Bale. It's like a revenge thriller. He starred in that one. That's a Scott Cooper movie.
That was like a backwoods one, right?
Kind of. It had his brother.
Casey Affleck?
Yeah, Casey Affleck's his brother. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. But this sounds intriguing, right? What do you guys think about the thought of this?
Yeah. Sounds lovely.
Are you in, Derek?
Yeah, no, I'm totally in. I mean, Christian Bale is a next level actor, but also like the what is it? I'm trying to think of a word. Like the allure or the Edgar Allan Poe is just an interesting person.
Yeah, the mythology around Poe.
I'd really want to interview him.
So
That's
on
to you, Jamie.
On the list, we've got Edgar Allan Poe and strippers.
Brandy.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that's what her name was, but
yeah, Brandy, the stripper.
It fits.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I like those kind of historical murder mysteries. Like, I really love Sleepy Hollow. We have to do that sometime. That's a really fun gothic murder mystery. So yeah, that's a pretty cool idea. we'll see how it goes. It's on Netflix. It comes out on December 23rd. So by the time this airs, it'll be out. So we'll have probably gave it a watch. All right, guys. We don't talk about this a lot on this channel, and we probably should talk about it more in the podcast. But The Walking Dead is a huge thing, right? It was a huge thing, at least.
Mm-hmm.
It was a pop culture juggernaut for years and years. And as you know, the series finally came to an end this year. But
the main series.
The main series. And now we have several other shows, spin-off shows. One of those I'm going to talk about right now, which is Daryl Dixon's show, which is called Daryl Dixon.
Nice.
And we've got our first look images from it. Do you guys want to see?
Yeah.
All right. So there's our first image. Driving a, chariot. What do you think of that? Yeah. And then we have him captured here, of course. Looking the same as always. We get this really cool picture of a zombie. Of these zombies walking.
Nice.
So what's interesting about the Daryl Dixon show is that apparently it is set in France.
I heard that.
Yeah, so set after the conclusion of The Walking Dead, the Reedus-led offshoot finds the zombie apocalypse fan favorite transported across the Atlantic to France in a whole new level of a world gone mad. So I want to know how he gets to France, first of all.
They're going to have to explain that because that's quite a jump.
I mean, I guess the world is, by the end of the series, the world's starting to come together again.
Mm-hmm.
But so that might be how. But yeah, it is quite a jump from, where are they? Atlanta? They're in Georgia, right? They're in Georgia.
Yeah.
To, France.
Across the pond.
Are you guys interested to see this?
I got some catching up to do.
Yeah. It's a maybe. It's definitely a maybe. I was a pretty big fan of the show up until I forget what season it was that they spoilers, they killed off Glenn.
Oh,
right?
Glenn's death. Yeah, it's a big one.
So I pretty much was
Funny.
going through. It was bringing me so much depression and anxiety that I stopped watching it.
It could definitely do that. Yeah, it was dark. It got dark there for a while.
Yeah. But my dad is a huge fan, so he keeps me updated on some things.
Yeah, I kind of fell out of it around that exact same time. I think that's when most people fell out of it, was around that time. It just became too much for a lot of people, and it's just like, where is this going?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was a big the first season I still think is the best season. I think that first season is amazing. And I remember watching the pilot episode.
I do too.
And just being like, because I watched it during its premiere and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This show
was awesome.
rules. Especially the bit where he's in the tank and he's about to shoot himself and he sees it, and that whole scene is so cool.
Yeah. And you hear Glenn in that.
Yeah, you hear him. Too. Yeah, it's a great ending. Yeah, that pilot's awesome.
Stuff. Yeah.
By the way, that's literally like the exact same place that I stopped watching. And mine was more or less, I had no time in life to do anything. And so if time were I didn't have a limitation there, I would totally catch up on the series.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really great thought experiment, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be interesting to see how you would react in that world.
Mm-hmm.
At least I think so.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably check it out at some point. At least watch the pilot episode of it, see how it is.
Yeah, Daryl was definitely the favorite.
Well, he's the fan favorite because he's the
coolest.
He's the coolest, and he also has the biggest arc, and he's kind of the most heroic as far as just straight hero. So yeah, it's fun stuff.
His brother Merle.
Merle has a great arc too, actually, though. Merle's arc is fantastic.
You know what?
Yeah.
Jamie, we should make a Christmas movie one time and call it Amityville Rudolph's Revenge.
Why don't want it has to be an Amityville movie? We could just make a horror movie called Rudolph's Revenge.
No, we might as well set it in Amityville.
And we could have.
You gotta just put Amityville in it so that people will.
That's true.
Google
That's true.
You know.
Yeah,
we'll have Rudy Giuliani give people diseases through farts. It'll be great.
No, wait. Listen, this is my pitch. All right.
All right.
So Santa and the reindeer visit the Amityville house, right?
To deliver presents.
Rudolph gets possessed.
There we go.
Or since you're calling it Rudolph's Revenge, you could have Santa get kidnapped at the Amityville house, and Rudolph has to go save him, Die Hard style. So that's why it's Rudolph's Revenge.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, like the original premise of because I was thinking about it was just for Rudolph's Revenge. I added the Amityville. I was like, man, somebody should kill like kind of like Bambi. Somebody should kill Rudolph's mom, like hit her with a semi. I went real dark here. And then Rudolph goes on a killing spree.
That's a way. I mean, we might as well. I mean, Jesus, we have, Pooh, Blood and Honey, the mean one coming out. I mean, that's the trend these days, apparently.
Yep.
So that wraps up this week's edition of the horror news. Now, I got in a Christmas spirit for Krampus here. I'm wearing my favorite Christmas sweater. Oh, look at that.
That is lovely.
Yes,
is that your favorite Christmas shirt?
Yes, Mr. McConaughey is the patron saint of Christmas, of course. Because we are going to dive deep into the Yuletide terror here with Krampus. So this is written and directed by Mike Daugherty, of course, who we love, who did one of our favorite movies of all time, Trick or Treat. So this was his big follow-up to Trick or Treat in the horror realm. So Lydia, let's start with you. Is this your first time seeing this?
No. I believe me and Jake went and saw this in the theater when it came out and had a blast. And honestly, I think I've watched it every year since.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like this is like one that we always end up putting on for like Christmas vibes.
Sweet. Derek, this is your first time watching this, right?
It is my first time watching this, yeah.
Nice. So did you hear about it before?
Yeah, so I watched a Krampus movie, but it definitely 100% was not this movie.
Was it one of the bad ones?
Yeah, and so what's funny is when you were like, let's watch Krampus, Lydia, and I was like, I think I've seen that when I started like explaining it, and you're like, nope, that's definitely not it. And then when I went to look for it to watch it, for the audience, I sent them a screenshot. I'm like, is this the one? And they're like, yes. And then my next message was a screenshot of like the list of 12 different Krampus movies. And I was like, good, because dear God.
Yeah. Yeah. So
he started a revolution.
It's also in the public domain. Anybody can make a Krampus movie. So when Doherty's movie was coming out, a big budget studio film, the mockbusters started a coming, because that's what they do. So you had 45 Krampus movies in like the span of, 2 years, I think, probably. So yeah, my experience, I went and saw this in the theater with Sarah, and I went and saw it with our friends Toby and Jenna, and I had fun with it. I liked it. And then I think this is probably my third or fourth time watching this, because when it came out on DVD, I rented it, I think. And then I think I watched it once on Netflix as well. And then we watched it, this week for the podcast. So yeah, it's been around my life for a while. So I've kind of known it pretty good. But let's get into it. Where do you guys want to start?
The beginning.
You always want to start at the beginning, Derek. You're no fun. Derek, every episode, I'm like, where do you guys want to start? Let's start at the beginning. You damn rebel.
Well, like there's a reason why, like
because that starts.
Well, no, like so this movie, the intro to this movie is just like the perfect encapsulation of everything that is wrong with the current structure of Christmas that we have.
Mm-hmm.
And in particular,
the
commercialization of Christmas, and like like they don't even have to tell you what day this happened on. You know what day this happened on.
Yeah.
Black Friday.
Well,
for the opening, not necessarily.
Well,
this movie takes place.
No, because it
3
doesn't
days
take
before Christmas.
Yeah, so that's I think when this happens, because we go straight from that opening to.
I guess because they're in the mall.
They're in the mall. Yeah.
Either way, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
Like in a real sense, because I watched that and I'm like, no, that like I've heard of people getting stabbed. Christmas shopping.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway.
But yeah, it's the deep capitalization of Christmas, but it's also darkly funny, especially set to up on a housetop. You have that playing in the background, and then you get these images of these people fighting over goddamn Tickle Me Elmos or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see Max, knocking over this guy, this other kid fighting him. And we see that all in slow motion, all this unfold. It's a pretty fun opening. It sets the mood and it sets the tone of what you're going to get. A lot of humor with your story. Because that's what Mike Daugherty does. So, we're introduced to the family, right? We have Max, who is, I don't know how old Max is. He's probably about, what would you guys say? How old would you say Max is?
12, 13?
Yeah,
maybe like 11.
I was going to say 11. Around 11.
Yeah.
And his family, we're introduced to his mom, played by the amazing Toni Collette. And then we have his dad, played by the great Adam Scott. And he has this grandma named Omi. Omi is German. And she is played by Krista Stadler. And Omi is older. She's German. She speaks basically German throughout most of the movie. And Max, talks to her in English, but understands her German. And we find out that Max has had a rough year. We find out that he still believes in Santa Claus.
Mm-hmm.
Even though he knows Santa Claus is fake, he still believes in Santa Claus. And he doesn't want the little kids to know about Santa Claus. Because this bully was trying to spoil the surprise of Santa Claus. And they get into a fight. And he talks to his Omi. And she still believes in Santa Claus because she believes what the spirit of Santa Claus represents. So she encourages him to finish his letter to Santa. So his family's going through some stuff, and he and his sister aren't hanging out as much as they used to. His mom and his dad are falling out of love, and they're kind of fighting each other. And Christmas doesn't feel like Christmas anymore to Max. He's losing his Christmas spirit, essentially. That's our setup. What do you guys think of this family and these characters before we get into the extended family?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of depressing, isn't it? It's just like, well, now it's Christmas time, and you want it to be like magical, especially when you're a child. Like you just want that magic that you've been brainwashed your whole life to believe in. Yep.
Yep.
It's just family dynamics.
What do you think of these characters and the actors, the cast?
It's a great cast. I love it. I love everyone. They all do an amazing job.
Yeah, I agree. They do. Yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch.
So I agree. Like, I think this movie was perfectly cast. There's nobody I would change.
Well, we're gonna have to change one of them. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. But really, what I love about like this particular part from where they get home, and really until like the supernatural stuff starts, is like, first off, here in a couple minutes, I get like hardcore Christmas Vacation vibes.
Yes.
But also, like, it's so realistic. Like what he's going through, like the transitions that they're having because his sister's getting older. And so like there's a level of maturity that comes with that, and separation. She's starting to hang out with her boyfriend. And then you got the parents, and I don't think it's intentional, like falling out of love, but like they get busy, right? And so the father has a compromise where he's not going to travel over the holiday, but he has to take calls, and so he's really busy, and and that takes time away from the family. And so there was a level of realism that I felt in this scene that got a real connection with the characters.
Yeah, I agree. And as you said, with the Christmas Vacation vibes, it's Christmas Vacation and Home Alone vibes. Once we're introduced to the, once we're introduced to the extended family, because what do you think of the cousins and the uncle and everybody that comes in at this point? Because David Ketchner plays Uncle Howard, and then Allison Tolman plays Aunt Linda. What do you think of these guys?
They're a handful. They forget their baby in the car. They're just like a mess, they're just kind of a mess of a family. It's like complete opposite of how this family is living, where everything is like very tidy and yeah,
everything's organized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they're chaos.
No, I had a real sense of familiarity with this, because I experience this anytime that the holidays roll around and I want to invite my family to my house. Like there's a bit of chaos.
You got a perfect story to tell at the end of this episode. Talk about when your brother came to visit
on Christmas.
We'll put a pin in that.
Yeah, so I felt again, it felt real familiar.
Yeah, and they're very funny because they are total opposites. Because we have their aunt coming in as well, and she's horrible. We have there's 4 kids altogether. There's an infant, then there's the 2 girls, Stevie and Jordan, who are complete tomboys. And they, are complete tomboys. And then you have the Howard Jr., who is like fucking Thurman Merman.
Dude, got Thurman Merman vibes hardcore. Also, his dad has this delusion that he's going to be like this football player, and all he's doing is really giving his kid diabetes.
Yeah, the best joke, one of my favorite jokes in the whole movie is when he's like, so Howie, what do you want for Christmas? And he's just staring at him like, he's like, do you want Christmas? You know what this? You want video games? And she goes, dialysis. I laughed out loud at that so hard. I was like, that's so mean. But so fucking funny.
I think he said it as he was walking away, although the kid seemed like he wouldn't know what he was talking about anyway.
No. Yeah, she just comes in the background. Dialysis. Yeah, this dynamic's great because we set up everybody and we set up their dynamics together. We see that the girls are mean, basically because their dad's a brash, like, asshole, basically. So we're dealing with that dynamic, and then we find out that the sisters are at odds too because they are opposites. Max's mom is more kept together and on top of it, whereas Linda is more chaotic, and they have differing political views as well. Just basically everything in their life. Excuse me. Basically everything in there. God damn it.
It's like what's like a Christmas drink that you would have that would give you hiccups? Yeah,
eggnog.
Some eggnog. Some spiked.
So basically everything that they're opposites on everything they can be.
Did you have eggnog before we started this?
I did not. I just have the hiccups. I drank some of this lemonade and It's just there now. Worst time to have hiccups. Fine all day. Start recording. Hiccups.
And then you just like yawn. You're just like,
yeah.
I
just can't.
You ever have the hiccups and your like voice cracks and then you sound like a 12-year-old girl? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, that doesn't usually.
Girl.
That doesn't happen to me, but
no, I had the hiccups yesterday, and I was trying to talk, and like you try to suppress it, and then like your voice just changes, and you're like, oh god. And I have a wife; she would definitely make fun of me for it. So
you do have a wife,
and she would make fun of me for something like that, for sure. She'd be like, "Oh, what was that?" But like, that's me changing the beneficiary on my life insurance, lady.
Oh, nothing. Just me talking to the divorce lawyer. Not a big deal.
Oh, man.
All right. Let's try.
Sorry, that got me.
So, yeah.
That got my nose.
What do you guys think of this What do you guys think of this dinner scene that happens?
Oh, man. It's so chaotic. It's like, I feel like it's kind of a relatable thing, too, because I feel even if you like don't have like such a crazy opposite family like in this situation, you've probably been somewhere in your life that like you've been in a situation where you're just like uncomfortable at like, you know, like just with other people, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's like man, like just seeing this family together, it's like, why do they get together for this?
Yeah, because it's not like they well, there's a great bit where after Max is embarrassed because the girls steal his letter to Santa and make fun of him for it. And they're reading it out loud. And there's that great bit where as they're trying to make fun of him, they realize that he wrote a bunch of really nice, sweet things. Like about Uncle Howard and Aunt Linda. You know, I hope you help them out.
Yeah, I hope they get a good break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
and they all get offended about it.
Well, they don't. The uncle and aunt, they're kind of like, oh, okay. But then the girls, they're like, screw you, Maxi Pad. Dad doesn't wish we were boys. It's like, yeah, he does.
No, that was such a sincere and heartfelt letter, and it was beautiful. And those kids are evil little BITs.
Which is something you say sometimes.
Sometimes. I will say this: it's so there's a part where they're like complaining about the food, and Jamie.
Oh, dude.
Jamie was present for something along those lines.
Go ahead, tell it real fast.
So I was getting my tux for my wedding, right? And so like I invited my mom and my brother along, and Jamie was coming because he was going to get an outfit, you know, with me. And
as a groomsman, yeah.
Yeah, as a groomsman, I'm like, hey, I'll just take everybody out for lunch, right? And so my brother, my God, I'm supplying him a free lunch. He's like, I was like, hey, let's all go to a buffet. There's a hibachi grill, you know, over here. We'll go over there. And he's like, man, can you get me food from McDonald's? I'm like, no, Jay, I'm buying your food, man. You're gonna eat wherever I take us.
The best is he's like, no, man, no, just drop me off at McDonald's, man. Like almost like crying. I don't want Chinese food. Just drop me. Jay is a 45-year-old man.
Oh my gosh.
And he's getting free food. Yeah, it was epic. And I remember just being like, I was like, damn, Derek, Jay is so ungrateful.
I know.
And I was like, God, but I wish you would have picked a better place. Jesus Christ. No, I didn't say that.
Whatever, you love the hibachi grill. So.
I do. We used to hit that up all the time, man.
We did.
That was our jam. It's a great place. It's still there, but it's a different name now. But it's still there. Still in the same
Must
plaza.
have been a COVID casualty.
It was kind of. So yeah, this dinner scene basically is the catalyst to the whole story. Because once this happens, he loses his faith. Basically, he decides, I lost my Christmas spirit. Screw it. His dad comes and has a really nice talk with him. I really like that scene between he and his dad. And his dad says a couple of really nice, poignant things. Like when he says, that's what family does. And he's like, but why do we get with them? And he's like, I mean, that's a good point. I can't answer that, but that's just something the family does. Like, even if you don't like each other, even if they're, idiots. It's like Uncle Howard. Well, I didn't name any names. And then he tells him, so go. I still think there's time to put that letter in the mail, pal. It's very sweet. And you're like, oh. So if this was like a regular Christmas movie, that would be like the turning point. But this is a Christmas horror film. So that's where he's like, loses his faith. He's like, I'm not going to take Dad's way out. And he rips up the letter and then throws it out into the ether, which is a bad idea because, first of all, it is littering. And we don't condone littering on the podcast.
I mean, it's paper. It'll buy it.
I guess, but...
No, man, there was something I was going to say. Because his dad, that is a really great little speech. Man, I had a point. Never mind.
Is it on the top of your head? Ah!
No, it's round.
Called you a pinhead.
That's mean.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So yeah, they that sets off all of the craziness because so then they wake up the next day and there is a giant blizzard engulfing the entire, well, basically as far as they can see.
Mm-hmm.
And also there's just a random snowman in the middle of the yard.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool, creepy little point there. And so the craziness starts. This is where it starts. What do you guys think of this little bit? Like, how would you, first of all, Lydia, you might be a little young. You probably remember it, but do you guys remember when we had a really giant blizzard and we didn't go to school for like a month?
When we were in high school?
You were in high school. I was in like 6th grade, 7th grade.
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
So it was like right around, we were both around the same age. So it was almost high school. I think it was 99.
Yeah, I remember that because we were out of school for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, because we had Christmas vacation. Then we had 2 weeks of a snow day.
I've got a funny story for that one.
I don't like remember it, but I like my dad has some stories. Like my mom and dad have like stories of like, because it was like right around my birthday or something, I think.
Yes. Yeah, so it was right.
It would have been early January.
Yep.
Yeah, it's yep.
Because we had Christmas, and then it was like right when we were going to come back in January from Christmas, we got hit with this big pelt of snow. And so that wasn't scary. Like, this is scary because it's like a big blizzard. But I remember thinking it was awesome because then I just got to have all of this time to play with the toys I got for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
I got some games, so I'm like, playing with these video games.
Yeah, no, so we had dissected fish like right before that in high school. So I think I was a freshman, maybe a sophomore.
Yeah, because I was just below that, yeah.
Yeah, and so like we had dissected fish. So I remember when we came back, those fish had not only set over Christmas break, but then the additional 2 weeks. So the entire upper level of the high school smelled like dead fish.
Oh, no.
It was great.
Yeah, that's amazing. But if we put ourselves in these character shoes, I mean, how would you feel waking up to this blizzard? Now, here's the thing, if it was with your family that you liked, it wouldn't be too bad, right? If the power was on, But they're out of power, and they're stuck here with this family that they don't like at all.
Yeah, it's kind of a nightmarish situation. Just being stuck or trapped anywhere. Like, yeah, it starts getting stressful.
Yeah, most definitely.
I think that could have been like the whole point of the movie, like without the supernatural stuff, just to be stuck in a house full of people that you can barely stand.
Well, the point of the movie, the point of the movie is to get to understand those people. I mean, that's the lesson that he learns by the end of the movie. But because they all have arcs and they all grow, every character grows.
They do.
But so the daughter, his sister, decides to go out to see her boyfriend. They give her permission to go because he lives right down the street. Just walk down there and check on him because none of the phones are working. None of the power is working. So she goes on and we get our first like horror scene What do you think of this scene, guys?
It's pretty cool.
Where she's like running down the street.
Yes.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. As far as like the rest of the movie, I think this isn't my favorite. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, but it's like a nice little like introduction.
Yeah, it sets the stage.
Crazy that they like just get rid of her so quickly.
Yeah, they do. Well, yeah.
I was a little shocked by that too. Yeah, but
I was like, surely she'll come back, and she just doesn't.
Yeah.
She also sees Krampus. Like, we see him pretty early on. He's jumping from like rooftop to rooftop.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, the first person, I don't know if it's the first person to die, but like, so we get.
Well, none of them die. They get captured. But
that's true. That's true. Even though one of them gets eaten.
Yeah, but captured.
That's still a great scene. Yeah, still captured. So, anyway, so she.
But there is that one guy you're about to talk about is definitely dead. Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a delivery to the house. And so then she sees this delivery truck once she starts to see Krampus jumping from house to house. And so she crawls underneath it after she sees that the delivery driver is frozen and probably scared to death.
Yeah.
He's totally dead.
Yeah. He's done.
That's my impression.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That impression also works for the old lady in House on Haunted Hill.
Or the alien.
Yeah, the alien too.
Yeah.
Lydia's favorite scene in that movie.
But man, the old lady in House on Haunted Hill, we used to say we used to call her Orville Redenbacher.
Oh my gosh.
And then for some reason, that woman creeped Andrew out super bad because he would start having nightmares about Orville Redenbacher, like coming after him.
Oh my God.
So it was great.
That's awesome.
So yeah, she's the first to go, and there's that chase scene down. She gets pulled out under the delivery truck. It's a pretty solid scene.
Yeah.
So after a while, dude, there's a scene here that's really funny where she says, because before she leaves, she goes, "All right, you can go see him, but when you get back, you're gonna have to spend girl time with your cousins." And they're in the living room wrestling, and she's like, "You call that a takedown?" She's like, "Yeah, right." And walks off. It's a funny bit. I always like that.
Yeah.
So our next big scene we have is Howard and Adam Scott's character. What's his character's name in it? Tom. So Howard and Tom decide to go out looking for his daughter because she's been gone. It's starting to get dark. Max comes over and says, "Hey, it's getting dark. I'm going to go see her. I'm going to go look for her." And they're like, "No, buddy, that's not a good idea. We'll go look for her. We'll take the RV. Basically, we'll take the RV and we'll drive it there, pick her up, and then see if there's anything."
Hummer.
Yeah, so this big Hummer. Yeah. It's like, we'll see if anything else is out in town. And so this is what do you guys think? This is a really fun scene. What do you guys think of this one?
Yeah. This is where it starts getting good.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they go in the boyfriend's house and it's like the chimney is like
smashed open.
Yeah, it's like ripped open a little bit, and it's like, I think that's such a cool thing to see.
It's a cool image. Yeah, it's a really cool image. Yeah.
The house, just like the set design of these like houses are really cool.
And it's so like frozen. It looks frozen. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really nice.
There's a line where Howard like is walking into the kitchen and he sees a gingerbread man with a knife stuck in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
I think he says something along the lines, these people were sick fucks or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. These are some sick people. Yeah. Sick bastards or something like that. Yeah. And so they head out and they get their first attack.
Mm-hmm.
Because before
they see the hoof prints too in the house.
Before they head out, he gives Tom a pistol and he takes a shotgun. And they see the hoof prints and they're like, he's like, "I've been hunting game my whole life. I've never, that looks like maybe a goat." And he's like, "What kind of goat walks on its hind legs?" And they end up getting attacked and he gets his leg pulled under. And Tom shoots it, and we cut, And next time we see him, they're coming in, and he's all messed up. His leg's all messed up. Really fun. Really fun scene. What do you guys think?
Yeah. The whatever's under the snow.
Yeah.
And you just see it like dragging him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, gets pulled across.
Yeah.
Yep. No, it's pretty scary.
Yeah, not bad.
Pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Like the mole people carrying you, like trying to get you from the snow.
The mole people.
Well, it's fun. It's fun
elves.
Too because
they're
it's like
elves, actually.
Yeah, they are elves. Yeah.
Later, yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say,
It's
Lydia?
just fun because like they start seeing stuff, like they can't be like denying that something is happening, because they're like, well, we just got attacked, like, right?
Yeah. And what's cool is it changes immediately when they get home, because then they start boarding the place up. Like, we got to figure out a plan, because also the Hummer gets destroyed. It's like smashed up, gone.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't get in it. So they're gonna have to figure out a new vehicle and a new way to travel. And also just being out in the snow, traveling from there back, he was starting to get frostbite because it's too cold. So they have to come back. So they're boarding up the place and keeping watch, because they know, this is out here. So meanwhile, while all this is going on, we see that Omi keeps feeding the fire in the chimney, in the fireplace. She's keeping it hot, and we're not sure, we don't think much of it. It's just like, would you get Omi away from there? And she's just constantly feeding it. And then, Howard tells Tom that, hey, thanks for saving my ass. And, it's funny the way he says it, like he's trying to like bond with him, but then he's like, thanks for not being such a spineless, bastard or whatever.
He's like apologizes. He's like, I'm sorry. I always thought you were the, spineless idiot or something.
Yeah. It's like, no problem. Thanks. So this cut always makes me laugh too, because he says, I'll take, you get some winks because, with your family, I'll keep watch. Shepherd's got to watch his flock. I'll keep the first watch. And then we immediately cut to him asleep against the window. It made me laugh again whenever he watched it. It was like, that's great. Perfect. Mm-hmm. And so this scene is fucking great.
Yeah.
The gingerbread man comes down the chimney. Howard Jr. on a chain. Howard Jr. walks over to it and grabs it. And just because he's a big fatty fat, bites its head off. Bites a piece of its head, and he goes, ah!
Yeah. So he gets mad. Yeah. He's like, you just bit my head.
Attacks him and wraps Howard Jr. up, and he gets taken up. And, they're trying to pull him back, and they create like a chain, and then Howard Jr. is gone. What do you guys think of this scene?
I like it. I like it a lot when he's getting dragged up there. The shots in this, there's something about the look of this movie. It looks
it's really nice. Yeah,
sharp and fresh and crisp and cold, and it's just filmed so beautifully.
Yeah, it's very good.
But when Tony Collette's character like sees the gingerbread man in the fireplace,
it's the best.
She's just like, I'm screaming, just like, what do you even do with that? Like, you could not possibly process that.
No, you're like, oh my god, it's Gary Busey. What do you think, Derek?
No, I love this scene, and I it's so funny and appropriate that he was the first one to go.
Oh yeah.
And just when he does bite the head off that thing, that is classic. That's such a good. I would have never have thought to do that.
And it's a great bit. Yeah.
Yeah, and then pulling him up. It's this is a really good scene. It's the good catalyst to kick it off from inside the house.
What's really funny is like it's just Krampus just went fishing.
Yeah,
he's like, I'll catch this big boy with this fucking gingerbread cookie.
That's exactly the not necessarily analogy, but that's exactly what he did. They went fishing.
Yep. So they caught him, pulled him up through the chimney. So then we get this amazing flashback Omi tells her story. What do you guys think of this flashback? It's my favorite scene in the whole movie.
It's
I
so
love
good.
that it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
So good.
It's like, I can't tell. It's like, looks like stop motion.
Yeah.
But it's CG. Like, it's not stop motion, actually.
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't think
it is.
I don't know.
It's really hard to tell because it looks so good.
Yeah, I think it is CG, but it's done in the style of stop motion. And it's
so cool.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I think it was go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think it's like it was a perfect decision to make it animated.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you can really like put something out of place whenever you use animation in the middle of a real movie. Like, I think that could be easy to do, but like they pulled it off very well.
Yeah, it's my favorite scene of the movie. Like, whenever I think of this movie, I think of that great flashback because of not only the art style that they used, but the shots they used to compose it. Mm-hmm. When Krampus winks at her, when his silhouette winks at her, is so good. Oh, I love that so much. And I remember even when I watched it the first time, I was like, oh, that's a really good scene. And then rewatching it, it's just my favorite. And plus it relays such good information. We find out that she has had an experience with Krampus before because she made a wish that basically to get rid of her family. And Krampus obliged when he dragged all of them away. And he left her to tell the story. Spread the word of Krampus, essentially. And that's
she doesn't do very well.
Yeah, she probably should have told everybody much sooner. But it's so cool. I mean, she's probably hoping that it's not the case, but she's knowing that it is. And then at that point, it's the point of no return. And I love how she says, like, what do we do? And she's like, we got to keep the fires hot. You know, that's basically all you can to keep the fires warm and stick together.
Mm-hmm.
And then when she's like, Omi, what? You know, tell me about, is there a way out or whatever? And she says something in German. And she's like, she said we're fucked.
Yeah.
Aunt.
Yeah, she's like, oh, you speak German? No, but I've been around long enough to know what that means, you know?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, basically we're fucked. Yeah, great.
There's so many like dialogue pieces too that like,
oh yeah,
that are just happening like in the background.
Mm-hmm.
That I always notice something new like every time I've watched it, like different little things. And of course we have the subtitles on, so that helps too.
Yeah,
so you can hear you can read things that you can't even really hear that well, that are just hilarious,
really funny lines. Yeah. So the next big bit is when things just kick off all the way, because so they start to make a plan. Tom has a plan. His plan is they saw a plow out there. So his plan is with some of the family, they're gonna march there, get that. Then they're gonna get follow it with the delivery truck. So that way they can just keep driving to the mall.
Mm-hmm.
But if the mall's not there, and she's like, well, what if that's not there? Well, we're just gonna keep driving until we find people, basically, is what we're gonna do. But we've got to do something because this is crazy. And we've got to go find our family because they're out there. We've got to get them back here. As soon as we find them, we're going to get them back here. We're going to look for, Howard Jr. We're going to look for his daughter. We're going to look for everybody. So the twins go upstairs because one of them has to go to the bathroom. They can't go by themselves.
Oh, no. Do you know why? No, it's not.
But the reason that they both go is because they're scared. Yeah. But the reason they can't go downstairs is because the aunt clogged the toilet. Yeah. There's a bit with her where she's like feeding them eggnog, by the way.
Not egg. Is it eggnog?
It's or whiskey.
I think it's just spice something.
Yeah, just
whiskey.
Whiskey, yeah.
She's like, oh, what the hell?
Yeah, don't rat on me.
Yeah, don't rat on me. That would definitely be something like one of my aunts would do.
100% what your aunt would do. And then she would be like, flip them upside down so that way we can get back up. But so they go upstairs and this beat. What do you guys think of this beat? This is your favorite part, probably, Derek. You're talking about. So So they go upstairs and they hear something in the attic, and the presents that were found on the front porch were brought up to the attic, and she was rewrapping them, and they come alive.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think of? First of all, who's your favorite? Because I think we all have the same creature as our favorite.
Jack in the Box.
Jack in the Box. That Jack in the Box is amazing, right?
Yes.
The scariest thing I've ever seen Christmas related.
Yeah, and it's such a great design. It's so cool. So
beautiful.
The Jack in the Box is attacking, and when they go up there, they see it finish eating one of the girls.
Yes, dude, how scary is that?
That's terrifying.
I love it.
Love how its mandibles like split and just like
the
so
noise
cool.
It makes too.
So good.
So scary.
So good. So that thing is eating the girls, and they have to fight it. And while they're fighting it, Howard's downstairs in a fight with some gingerbread men.
Yep.
This scene is hilarious.
It is so good.
The best bit is when he blows them up. He uses the lantern to shoot them and blows them up. And then the one's jumping at him, and then the dog like eats it.
In like slow motion.
Yeah.
And he's like cowering.
Yeah, and then
he's like, what happened?
Yeah. Dog just walks off. That bit's hilarious.
So funny. It's so cheesy.
Yeah, it's so good. I love it. And then upstairs, they're not only fighting the creepy Jack in the Box, but they're fighting a weird, creepy angel and a
teddy bear. And a robot.
The teddy bear gets stabbed in the eye with an icicle.
Yeah, like a weird owl thing.
Yeah, the weird owl.
Doll thing?
Yeah, that's like an angel.
That's the angel.
Oh, that's the angel. Okay, yeah.
Tree topper.
Yeah. So creepy. And so they have like a big fight scene with that, and then they get downstairs and they set the dog through the vents to get the Jack in the Box, and they get Stevie out of the jack-o'-lantern, and then
the Jack in the Box,
and then they fight off everything else. Like they shoot the angel and it flies into the wreath, which is a great bit. I love that. And then all of them come back because she's like, finish it, and she's about to shoot the Jack in the Box when all of them come and attack, and then they stop because the elves are coming. And there's that great shot.
It starts clapping like weird, creepy.
Yeah. Oh. Then there's that great shot. So the aunt's standing at the, with their back to the window, and we zoom in on, we do a push in on Omi, and she's like, elves in German. And then they freaking pull her out the window.
Oh my gosh. How cheesy was that?
It's so good.
Pulling her out that window so quick like that.
Perfect.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's a little much for me.
That's perfect.
I agree, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It's great.
They put like a whistle noise in it.
Yeah, it was great.
Yep.
So goofy.
Because you have to add the whimsicalness, because it is still a horror comedy. It's still funny.
Yeah, but we just had a really funny moment.
Yeah.
And it's like it's about to get really serious. I just feel like we could have left that whistling sound out.
Basically, the survivors. So Howard jumps on the jack-o'-lantern to try to get his kids back. So he's taken off. So our survivors left are Tom. What's Toni Collette's character's name? Sarah. So Tom, Sarah, Max, Stevie, and Omi are the only ones left at this point, and Linda, the mom. So Omi decides to stay back. She's staying behind because she's going to have to, confront Krampus. So she stays. And what do you guys think of Krampus himself? What do you think of his look once he's revealed when Omi sees him?
He is awesome.
You're muted, Derek. Almost got through the whole episode.
Almost got through.
You got through last week's episode without it.
Yeah, almost got through two. Yeah. Yep. No, I think he's fucking perfect.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the way that he looked.
Yeah, he's so cool. The way his eyes are and like his giant open mouth.
The shape, like his silhouette, his hands.
His hands are really creepy.
Fingers.
The arm with the big fingernails.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's the first time we see him, and he's cool. He's cool. So he takes her, feeds her to the toys. And then we have our survivors. And what do you think about this whole bit before the ending? This chase bit. What do you guys think of this?
It's good. You got
it's kind of knocking them off pretty quick. Yeah.
Yeah, because the dad sacrifices himself.
Yep.
To try to buy them some time. You know, all for naught.
Yep.
And then the mom goes down. She tries to give them an opportunity to get away.
Yep. Linda gets pulled into the snow.
Yep.
And then Stevie gets pulled out of the vehicle, and it's just him by himself. Yep. And we get that voiceover. Which if the movie ended there, would have also been a perfect ending.
Yeah.
But we get that in, where we see everything. We get like flashes of stuff, and then like we get the voiceover and saying basically like, and left him alone kind of thing. So he got his wish. He's alone.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't just let it go like Omi does. He wants them back. He regrets his decision. So we get this
real quick before we get into this. Like they set up his character traits pretty early in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because he stood up for the kids in the beginning because he didn't want them to know that that this bully to tell everybody that Santa wasn't real, and like he has some courage to him.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So he gets into a confrontation with Krampus. What do you guys think of this confrontation?
It's brave.
I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
Go ahead, Derek.
He definitely miscalculated.
Well, but did he? See, that's the thing.
No, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right because so he essentially says, "Take me," right?
Mm-hmm.
You can fix this. I know you can.
Yeah.
Take me instead, right? So that's the sacrifice. But in the end, like I don't know if we want to get to the end yet. But
we'll talk about it because the ending is 100% open to your interpretation.
Yeah. I'm interested to see what your guys' interpretation is.
Well, I kind of cheated because I kind of know what it is.
Okay, I also want that perspective. If you can, try to give the perspective you had before you.
Well, it's kind of the same thing that I had. It's just kind of confirmed a little more because it's still open to the viewer, but it leans one way more than the other. The ending. So the confrontation, I think, is really cool because we see all of these great practical effects, see all these great makeup work and these puppets, and we get like the ground breaking up, and it's like real dramatic and cool. So I like it, and I also like how he gets this big heart-filled moment, and that's the point in the movie where usually it's like, has a change of heart, but instead everybody just laughs at him.
Mm-hmm.
All the monsters start laughing at him, and so then he's like picked up and dropped down into the abyss, the hell it looks like, and then he wakes up in his bed, and it's Christmas morning. So he goes out, and the family's all there. Everybody's having a good time. Everybody seems to be better to each other, and it's the Christmas morning that he wanted, the way he wanted it, things how they always should be. And then he opens his present and he has the little Krampus ball. And so he sees it, and then everybody around the room sees it, and all of their memories. Everybody just gets really awkward. And like all the things that are said are there, but it's nothing's explicit. And then we pull out to reveal the family in a snow globe.
Mm-hmm.
And he puts it on the shelf, Krampus does. And then we pull back and we see the little creatures attack us once more as we end. What do you guys think of this ending?
Lydia, you want to go first?
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I like it. I like the waking up, and like I like that you get to see that of like them actually having a really nice Christmas morning, because that's the best. It's just a good Christmas morning. And then when they start like all kind of like thinking about it, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that they're in a snow globe. Every time I see a snow globe now, I think of this movie and this little family. I'm like, what if we're in a snow globe? You know, stuff like that.
Yeah. What do you think, Derek?
So I knew that there was something off because the film is overexposed here, right? And so as he makes his way down there, and you're right, it's so wholesome. And he like shows like true excitement, and he gives them hugs, and those hugs feel genuine, and he's very happy to see them, and the extended family is being very cordial. And so when the bell happens, it's very it's sad in a way. It's also, and this is where you get into that interpretation, because he definitely gets what he wished for. And from my perspective, I feel like he now has to live this out in eternity.
Well, so here's the ending of the snow globe. So there's been multiple explanations and theories about the snow globe. One is, that he's, that the family's stuck in the snow globe forever. Another is that these snow globes, because you see hundreds of them.
Mm-hmm.
The other is that the snow globes are collected, and that's his way to keep an eye on these people that he spared. That way he always watches over them. Because if they mess up again, he can take it back. And that's also because he lives in the underworld. These snow globes might be how he gets to our world.
Mm-hmm.
He sees our world through these snow globes. So Mike Daugherty, when asked about it, basically doesn't give a straight answer, but he says, essentially, he says that the movie is definitely up to your interpretation, but the movie's pro-Christmas. So the good side wins out. It is pro-Christmas. So I think what the interpretation is supposed to be is his wish gets taken back, but Krampus is right around the corner. If you step out of line.
I love it.
Yeah, I like that.
Love that. Yeah, no, that it gives me more, like, it fills me more with hope.
Yeah.
When I rewatch this and I get to the ending, I'm gonna have a much different feeling about how it ended.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's open to interpretation, because could they be in the underworld? Yeah, possibly too. But I mean, that would kind of negate the arc of the film and the message of the film.
Yeah, and the point of
the
Krampus,
point. Yeah, exactly. So that's his interpretation. That's kind of when I watched it the first time. That's how I took it, was, so it's like he's like Santa Claus, but this is how he watches over you. He sees you when you're sleeping, knows when you're awake. You're a snow globe to him. You're not an interesting, you're not an important being. You're one of many.
Yeah. So like whenever this is the thought process I had when I was watching this for the first time. When he grabs him, when he asks him to take it back and reverse it, he knows he can. The reason why my interpretation was that he's now stuck kind of in this, I felt like it was more like a loop, like he'll replay this forever.
Yeah, that's what I
Which, was what he wanted. Like that was his dream.
Yeah.
That was what his vision of Christmas was. And so like in the end, he actually got what he really, really wanted. And I didn't take it as like a negative thing. I took it more as okay, you wanted this. This is where you'll remain forever. So like when he grabs him and he throws him down, that's why I took that interpretation, was he was stuck here. But I do like that context, or at least not necessarily full context, but the context clues of what maybe it was supposed to happen.
Yeah. So it's up to how you feel in your in your heart, essentially, what you want for these characters. And I don't want these characters to be suffering either. You
I bonded with these characters.
Yeah.
I liked them, all of them.
So that
Even
is, that is Krampus. Derek, let's start with you because we started with Lydia last week. What do you think of this movie?
Man, I'm gonna give this movie a Troy Aikman, man.
Big old 8.
I'm gonna give it an 8.
This
is great.
That's an 8.
I love this movie. I am gonna buy this movie and I will watch it every Christmas. I'm glad you picked this, Lydia.
Yeah, I actually own it.
I will own this as well. It's a good one.
Yeah,
Lydia.
Yeah, I think an 8 is good for this. I think it's just a great movie. I just love the look of it. I love the design of everything. Everything looks amazing. So like even the story, however you interpret the story, it's just a fun one to watch, It's just fun to look at. Yeah. And the performances are great. I don't know. Yeah, I like it. I'm a fan. I recommend it.
Yeah, I agree. Across the board, the performances are excellent. And the direction's wonderful. Mike Daugherty has a great eye, and he's really good at this type of horror too. Fun horror. Mixed with comedy. I mean, Trick or Treat. You guys know how I feel about Trick or Treat.
Mm-hmm.
Every year I watch it. Every Halloween, it's a 10. It's one of the best. And I love Godzilla King of the Monsters, which he also wrote and directed. Excellent. But this is one of my favorite Christmas movies too. Christmas horrors. It's up there with Gremlins. It's not on the same par as Gremlins. Gremlins is up here. But I think it's an 8 as well. Good old Troy Aikman, because it's solid, man. It's very fun. I love the design of the character of Krampus. I love the mythology. I like the little creature designs. They're fun. And it's just, it's a breeze to watch. It's a blast to watch. You don't feel bad afterwards. You're like, that was a good time. That was a good time. So yeah, an 8. All right, guys. Now it's time for the hardest part of this episode. It's time to Atkinize this movie.
Thrill me.
Who does Tom Atkins play in this?
The delivery driver?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's a hard one.
I think he would be actually really good as the uncle, too.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
I think he would. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the way that the actor played the character.
Oh, yeah, he's great. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But if we had to replace one, it would be him.
Yeah. If we had to replace the main character, but there are also like 2 of them.
I just think he would do good. I think I would just enjoy seeing him as that character and just having like a beer and being kind of shitty,
Yeah.
No, man. Gender swap the aunt for an uncle.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that could work too, actually. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
That would be good. Yeah, he would totally rule that.
Mm-hmm.
I could totally see him giving beer to kids.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Like God created eggnog, babe. God created eggnog.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'd say he could play Uncle Atkins. I like that. Good thinking, Derek. Uncle Atkins. All right. So that was Krampus. This was our Christmas episode. Thank you guys for joining us on this wonderful sleigh ride down to hell with Krampus. What are we watching next week? Whose turn is it? Is it my turn to pick? That's your turn, Derek. Yeah. What are we watching next week? New Year's.
Geez, I didn't prepare for this. What could it be? What should it be? We can't do Howard the Duck.
No, it is New Year's. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Last year we did Nightmare on Elm Street for our...
That was the first episode. Yep, that was our season premiere. What are we going to do for this season premiere? Season 3.
Season 3, guys.
Season 3, guys.
What?
All right.
Season 3.
I'm gonna need just a second because I truly did not prepare for this.
Okay.
What? Man, we could do Critters Critters 3?
No, we're not doing Critters for a season premiere. You know what?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, you almost called him DiCaprio. Idiot. You know what, Derek? I'm just throwing this out there. We have not done any of the Hellraisers yet.
I knew you were going to say that.
There was a point a couple weeks ago I almost recommended a Hellraiser. God, so those movies, man, I really have to be in the mood for that because it's fucking dark.
It's weird.
Well, what do you want to start? What movie do you want to start the season 3 off with? Like, do you want it to be a big, dark, scary one? Do you want it to be a fun, epic one?
I got it.
Okay.
What is
I
it?
got it.
What
You
is
guys
it?
ready for this?
Ready.
Let's hear it.
Jack Frost.
God
Jack
damn it.
Frost.
God damn it.
I'd rather watch Critters 3.
I'd rather never watch a movie again.
No,
We're
I
not gonna
love
have any followers anymore.
You guys love the hologram cover?
I did, but that's going to be a terrible start to season 3.
We can review the hologram cover.
The hologram cover, yeah.
We'll just talk about the
I'll
cover.
be honest with you, I don't remember anything about this movie.
It's bad. I don't even know if we can find it. Yeah.
It's bad.
Oh, we can find it. We can find it.
Oh, man, that's a terrible season premiere. I was hoping we'd do like one of the big franchises for a season premiere.
Yeah, something good, Derek.
Yeah.
That is a good one. What are you talking about?
It's bad. It's bad.
It's classic. It's got a cult following.
Yeah, like QAnon probably follows Jack Frost.
Oh my goodness. I can't take it back now. That's
You can.
You can. You still have time.
We are gonna give you permission to take that
Man,
back.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't
We could do Jack Frost on your second pick. How about that? Season premiere time. Come on.
Yeah. We did Nightmare on Elm Street, and then we did like a Puppet Master last time. You know, we start
All right,
strong.
fine. You guys convinced me. I'll retract that and I'll make it sometime in January.
Okay.
What about Ginger Dead Man?
No, you
No.
no.
Derek,
I'm going
do you
to
watch movies.
What?
I'm going to throw this out.
No, I got a good one. Jamie, you're
Okay.
gonna like this one.
Oh.
Okay.
It's gonna be hard to find.
Oh,
Oh
gosh.
no! I just said we should do one of the big franchises for it, and he's like, "This is going to be a hard one."
This one's gonna be a hard one to find, but I've wanted to do this one like the entire time that we've been doing this. I want to do the Robert Englund
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah,
Is that a horror movie?
it is.
Yeah,
It's a slasher
it is.
Oh,
in the 80s. Yeah,
okay.
Was
he
it
has
the- I
like
thought it was in the
pretty
90s.
like makeup on. Yeah, I think it might be. I think it's. Let me see.
All right. I guess that's acceptable because I don't have any.
1989.
You can't complain about it, Lydia. You've never seen it.
I know. That's why.
1989 is that when it came out?
1989. Yeah, let's see if I can find that streaming anywhere. Oh, it's on. Is it on Pluto or something? Let's see.
Probably.
Where can I watch Phantom of the Opera?
I've never seen Phantom of the Opera. Like, I don't even know what it's about.
A Phantom
Well, there's this
of an
beast.
opera
You
house.
see,
Well, I kind of get it, I suppose.
it's on Pluto. Pluto. It looks like Pluto TV
Doo-doo.
for
for
free.
free. For free. Yeah.
That's the best kind.
So it's showing it on Pluto TV. You can watch. It's actually directed by Dwight H. Little, who did Halloween 4, which we'll get into one of these days. And it's 1989's Phantom of the Opera.
It's
Starring
in Freddy
Robert Englund.
makeup.
Yep, it looks like Freddy makeup. Exactly.
What?
Yeah. What? I haven't seen it since the early 90s, so I don't know what to expect from this.
All right.
So I mean, it's definitely better than Jack Frost, so I'll take it.
Yeah.
Ginger
Yeah.
Dead Man.
And definitely, oh my god, that would be like season 18 if we ever covered Ginger Dead Man.
Dude, I love the third one where he like goes back in time to the 70s.
Oh,
Ginger Dead Man.
Yeah, those are terrible.
'Cause
So,
it's,
folks,
so bad.
next week, Dwight H. Little's Robert Englund starring Phantom of the Opera, 1989's Phantom of the Opera. It's available on Pluto TV. That is what we are doing for season 3's premiere. I would have preferred, I don't know, Evil Dead 2 or something, but that's what we're stuck with. So.
Highest rated movie we're going to have all year.
It's probably true.
It might be. It might be. I mean, good old LBJ got a lot of views. So from the Screen Bloody Movie family to yours, we hope you had a great Christmas, and we hope you guys also have a happy new year. We will see you in 2023 with season 3 of Screen Bloody Movies. You can follow us on all of the social media. You can follow us online at HiLaProductions.com. You can follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. You can follow us on Instagram at Screen Bloody Movies. You can also follow us each on Twitter. You can follow Lydia at Lydia is Spooky. Follow Derek at DDog Lee Master, and you can follow me at Racket. Guys, thank you for another great season. You're muted, by the way, Derek. It wouldn't be a season finale if you weren't.
Don't I have a story to tell?
You do have a story to tell. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Tell the story.
Of my brother and the Christmas. Okay.
Yes.
So, I don't know. So, I really connected with this movie in this way. So, like, I'm kind of the black sheep of my family in the sense that I'm more like the white sheep of the family. And my wife, like, she has no, other than what I've told her, she has no context of like my upbringing and things like that. So she only gets these little snippets every now and then. And this just happened to be one of them. So we invite my mom and my brother and his wife to our house for Christmas. And it took everything that I had to convince her that this was going to be okay. And so when they finally arrive, my mom, this is the first thing I see after they get to my house. My mom walks through the door and she's in tears. She's just bawling. She's crying. I'm like, what's wrong? It's just like, ah. So I go outside, and my brother in our neighborhood, and nothing like this has ever happened at our house, is standing in the middle of our yard, and there's snow on the ground, and he's going, Jessa! Because they had gotten into an argument with my mom on the way up here, to the point where my mom was in tears, and she just started walking. She just started walking home in our neighborhood. She has no idea where she's going. And my brother's like, oh my God, I lost her. She just took off walking. And I'm crying in my yard. And I'm like, shut up. Stop talking. I was like, I need you to leave. I don't care. He was like, man, I don't even have money to get home. I had to give him $5 to put in gas. This was a couple of years ago. So he couldn't And so I had to give him $5 to put in the gas tank, so that, because that's the only cash I had on me, because I never carry cash, to like leave my house and go drive around and find her wherever the heck she went, and then go home. And then I had to drive my mom home at the end of the night. I had to drive her home. Oh my God, it was really embarrassing.
Yeah, it's pretty epic. I mean, he's like Brandoing in the middle. I could have been a contender.
Well, what's worse is, like, you know, there's a strained relationship there, and my wife already was very weary of my brother, and so like we went and got them all Christmas presents. They didn't get any of them. My mom did, obviously, but like I repurposed my brother's Christmas presents for other people that you know, showed some sense of gratitude in life. We had gifts for his wife. She never got those. It happens.
It happens.
It's special.
That is special. That's the last story of the year, guys, of season 2. So we will see you in 2023 with season 3. Thank you guys for another great season. I love you. And we will see you guys next year. So for Derek Lemaster and Lydia Judy, I am Jamie Hiles. And remember, if you're going to scream Jessa. No, scream bloody movies. Scream bloody movies. Bye, guys.